What's up? This is Kelly, and I'm here to give y'all the rundown on what happened in St. Louis City and St. Louis County governments last week. Because if we stay ready, we ain't got to get ready. So let's get into the rundown. We are going to start it off with what happened with our St. Louis City governments last week. So I got three highlights for y'all. So the first highlight, y'all, everybody named Mama had been asking me about this, about what's going on with the RAM settlement coin. So the Board of Aldermen, they had a virtual meeting last Monday night, y'all, to update the public about how much of the coins we got in the bank. Also, what feedback they've gathered so far as how these coins should be spent. And they also need help on how they can engage more folks to truly represent the demographics of the city of St. Louis, aka they need help with getting more non-white people to fill out the damn survey. So right now, as far as the city coins, how many coins we got in a bank from the RAM settlement, we have $287.2 million. We've earned $7.2 million in interest since putting it in the bank. As far as getting feedback on how the coin should be spent, the Board of Aldermen President Megan Green's office has been leading this effort. And her office, specifically Christina Garmendia, has been doing the things. So they set up an online portal for folks to fill out a survey expressing their greatest challenges living in the city. And people can also, they can just flat out share their ideas on how the coin should be spent. Now, y'all, to access the portal, folks have to register with a legit email address. So where are we at with the feedback? So far, there are just under 2,200 folks that have registered on the portal. There are also just under 1,900 survey responses and 352 ideas have been submitted. Which is a drop in the bucket, I know, right? When you look at the total population of the city, which is under 300,000 now, but yeah. So what have been what have the residents been saying so far, especially when we're talking about the biggest challenges that impact them? So as you can see on the slide, the things that people have been saying, the biggest issues are employment, housing, transportation, childcare, education, health and healthcare, and city services. And a lot of people, I guess the streets been saying literally the streets, jack up streets, as well as the emergency response when, with folks trying to contact 911 and the police departments, that's been a challenge. Something else that residents have expressed as being some of the biggest challenges that they face, being city residents, the write-in responses, 39% have identified public safety as a challenge. And public safety encompasses a lot of things, y'all. So people have specifically been speaking about unsafe streets, lawlessness, a low police presence in their communities, reckless driving and dangerous drivers, and also, no shocker, right, crime. So if you have yet to do so, please make sure you fill out the survey. You can scan this QR code, go ahead and do it, register on the portal, complete the survey. You can also, like I said, submit ideas too, and it don't take that long. So get it done, tell a friend to tell a friend, and be heard. So what are the next steps? The survey, it will be closed on Friday, October 13th. And there's going to be another public meeting in October, either the 25th or the 26th, I think, where they will provide a full rundown on like the feedback that they received, and also kind of laying out like what are the steps from going from, again, the feedback that they got to the Board of Aldermen, again, deciding how these coins are going to be spent. Something else that was discussed during the meeting, comments from the public were heard, and there were several residents that really provided their thoughts on how to get more engagement in this from city residents. And basically they were saying, y'all got to meet the people where they at when it comes to engaging them. I know something that was expressed too was that there are paper copies of the survey available at libraries, I think at City Hall too. So if people are really gung-ho and want to be part of that effort and passing out the paper copies and picking them up and dropping them back off at City Hall. I think on the portal, you can reach out to folks and reach out to Board of Aldermen, the president of the Board of Aldermen's office as well, if you want to be part of that effort, or if you have any other thoughts, ideas around how to engage more people. And also, hell, reach out to your alderperson, because, they should be part of this process as well. So I guess I want to mention really quick about this. And I'm not just picking on the city. I love the city because I live in the city. But, this applies to other entities, other organizations, other municipalities. When you're trying to engage people, you really need to include those people in developing a plan to make sure we engage those people. You can't just reach out to people halfway through the process to be like, hey, y'all, how can we reach people like you? Like, it don't work like that. And, Transform 314, we're working hard to really make sure we are including community throughout the entire process and not just in the middle or at the end of stuff. So it's not easy work, that's for sure. But y'all, it can be done. Just include the people from the beginning. That's all I got to say. And look at that. That's a free nugget. You ain't even have to pay me. All right. On to the next highlight from the city of St. Louis, bills to watch. So there were a number of bills that were introduced during Friday's Board of Aldermen meeting, more than what is on this slide here. But the ones that we are peeping that were introduced are these bills. So there is a bill introduced related to requirements concerning meal periods and rest breaks for employees. And also not one, not two, but 3 different bills that were introduced related to gun control in some way, shape, or effort. So we will definitely be staying tuned to seeing what happens with these bills. So to be continued, y'all, to be continued. And then the last highlight we have regarding the city of St. Louis. So during Friday's Board of Aldermen meeting also, Alderman Orion, who represents the 4th Ward, he was able to get a resolution passed, which will help his ward with getting some federal coins through a grant to help with issues stemming from that crazy flooding. Y'all remember that flooding we had last July? That ish was wild. So he's going to be able to get some coins, some federal funding to help with clearing up some of those issues from them. So I want y'all to know the 4th Ward. What is that? Where is that? So the 4th Ward contains a number of South Side neighborhoods, including High Point, Clayton Tam, and Clifton Heights. Now, obviously, the Board of Aldermen, like I said, they passed the resolution. However, some of the alders representing the North Side felt a type of a way about this. And not to take away from the needs of the 4th Ward, because that's real and the needs are there. But hell, what about the rest of the city, y'all? So y'all already know Alderwoman Tyus is gonna tell it her way. So listen to what she had to say about this.
The mayor's not trying to help. Nobody's trying to help except for the mayor and the Congressman Cori Bush. When we set up an event to help the people, they showed up for the press conference and took pictures and asked about where I was. I was at home sick. I did it from laying in my bed sick, getting blood transfusions, but I couldn't get any help from the mayor's office. But here was the mayor and the Congresswoman showing up for press conference and has done nothing to help those people. And I'm going to keep bringing that up. And I will, anybody from the press that wants to see the application, I have them. They were notified that they didn't do it. If they didn't, the alderman and I had a conversation on the floor of the Board of Aldermen. And this is ridiculous that we would have this. I want to thank the alderman from the 14th for bringing it up. But he didn't have to, because I was going to bring it up again, but not to say that I don't support the alderman from the 4th. I don't support acting like one part of the city is more important than the all. We are all a total city. And if you do not look out for all of the city, then you ought to be ashamed of yourself, and you should not be a citywide elected official.
Yep, y'all heard it. She said it. We really need to start looking at the all of the city, y'all. We got to do that. So that's it for the city. We're gonna keep it moving. I couldn't leave out my St. Louis County folks out there. So we got 3 highlights for y'all too. St. Louis County folks. So the first highlight, this is a tough one. So parents have been speaking out as their children are dealing with some terrible conditions, allegedly. I gotta say allegedly, at the county's Juvenile Detention Center. Check out this clip from Fox 2 News as a couple of parents are expressing their concerns about what their children are dealing with.
My son had urinated in his room because they turned the buttons off or they take too long for him to come use the restroom.
Our children are urinating, having bowel movement inside of a container that they eat out of.
They don't have enough staff.
They took our kids special visits.
So yeah, again, these are the allegations, right, that they are saying that their children, the issues that they are dealing with. And the St. Louis County Council, they met to discuss these issues. And to discuss these allegations and to figure out, again, like how can they address them through budget-related concerns. And so that's the thing, right? The thing is, the county council, that's the only power that they have in addressing any of the issues in the counties technically located in St. Louis County in its juvenile detention facility, because the facility, it is run by the state of Missouri. I mean, my bad, y'all. It's run by the state of Missouri, okay? And so there's only so much that the St. Louis County Council can do. And so the power that they do have, or the authority that they do have, is regarding the coins or the budget that is used in that facility. So that was the purpose of them meeting, was to discuss, again, some of the budget related items with the leadership of that facility. And sure enough, as the parents mentioned, staffing issues were brought up. Now, since there was a bill that was or a law that was passed in 2021 in our state called Raise the Age. And this means that now, instead of juveniles being considered 16 and under, now they're considered juveniles if they are 17 years of age and younger. This also means that the juvenile detention facilities have to house the youngins who are being tried as adults, so they have to house them until they go to trial. Now, since the law has passed, the folks at the detention center, they said, look, y'all, the population done tripled, and also these youngins that's coming in here, because again, that raised the age. Some of these kids is coming in here, they ain't coming in here because they sprayed little graffiti on the side of the wall, or maybe they stole some rap snacks or something. No, some of these youngins, they're being housed because they being tried as adults. So they've created some real crimes. So you got more of these youngins being tried for more serious crimes, and all that's happening, and ain't nothing changing with the amount of staff that we got available. You know what I'm saying? And so obviously, in order to get more staff, you need more coins, you need more dinero, you need more dead presidents. So you need more of a budget to make sure your staffing level, it meets the needs of the youngins that are in this facility. So council members, they had a lot of questions concerning the allegations about the youngins' treatment in the facility. And the county counselor, aka the county's lawyer, kept reminding them that they had to stay on the agenda that has been published through the public, is saying, like, we're talking about budget related items. So they're just saying, y'all need to stick to the budget. That's it, point blank, period. Now, Councilman Tracus, he was not feeling that at all. He was not. So check out this exchange between him and Chairwoman Webb during that meeting, y'all.
Before I have a question, I have a statement.
Go ahead.
I believe you're manipulating this hearing. You're limiting legitimate inquiry into the effects of budget, how the money is spent, and it's completely improper to limit our inquiry. This is an important hearing. These people need to be asked important questions, and we need to get answers to those questions. Limiting us in this manner is manipulative and out of line.
Thank you, Councilman Tracus.
I'm not finished. I have my question that you gave.
Duly noted, sir. So at this time, Councilman Tracus, I'm going to go ahead and go to Councilman Hancock. Councilman Hancock, what is your question?
You're not going to let me ask my question?
No, sir.
Woo! So due to time constraints, the meeting it was adjourned. And it's gonna have to be a part two because baby, okay, between the passionate parents that were present during the meeting to provide their thoughts and perspectives on the record, and understandably they were passionate because they're talking about their babies, right? And a lot of the questions that the council members had, like there's more time that's going to have to be dedicated towards fleshing this stuff out, y'all, because at the end of the day, these young people in that facility, they have to be treated humanely, period. Like that's it. And so it's going to be a second meeting, I know for sure. Also, again, our state legislators, they got to be part of this conversation too, because as I kept hearing over and over and over again, the state of Missouri runs these facilities. So our state legislators, they asses need to be part of the conversation too. So to be continued, to be continued, to be continued. The next highlight we're going to get into. So last week, I mentioned a bill being introduced that would make it illegal for a person to openly carry a gun without a valid concealed carry permit in unincorporated St. Louis County, right? So if people were to break that law and they were over the age of 18, those folks, they'll be fined anywhere between $25 to $500 and or locked up for less than a year. And if folks break that law and they're under the age of 18, they be fined again anywhere between $25 to $500 and or have to serve community service. So after being introduced last week, the bill, it was up for perfection, which is the step right before it's finally passed. So again, y'all, perfection do not mean final passage. So while the bill was being discussed and up for perfection, not all of the council members was feeling the bill. So hear what one of them, Councilman Harder, had to say about it.
I've got a lot of heartburn on this one. There's a lot of issues here that are kind of wrapped up here. I don't want to rush this. We are setting ourselves up. I've talked to people about this with federal and state authorities and what authority we have to put something like this together and to enforce it. Our state and federal authorities actually have a greater footprint here and have greater authority, greater penalties if the courts bring it to them, prosecutors bring it to those courts. We also there's an issue here with patchwork of laws. This only covers unincorporated St. Louis County. So if you pass this, then someone can just step across the street or a major divide in our community, and this be fully legal in those places. And people are not going to know those differences. You're going to have a lot of confusion over this, besides being full of legal issues. So I would ask that we hold this and get a legal opinion from our staff to start with, maybe more. But I would think that we would need to hold this for a while until such time as we can better vet this whole situation.
Now, I will say, I see what he's saying about patchwork, because if this law is passed, it will only apply to unincorporated St. Louis County, y'all. So that means that your Delwoods, your Jennings, your Fergusons, your Berkeleys, your Bellefontaine neighbors, and all the other 3,000,000 municipalities in St. Louis County, they'd also have to be on the same page and pass the law too to make sure that it is effective. You know what I'm saying? And so is that going to happen? I mean, I don't know, y'all. I don't know. It could, anything's possible because, Trump got elected, but I don't know if all of those municipalities would work together to pass something like that and be on the same accord. So I don't know. But after all was said and done, the bill, it was perfected along party lines. The 4 Democrats in favor of it, the 3 Republicans not checking for it and voting against it. So this bill, it will be up for final passage next, and we shall see what happens. They got the numbers. The Democrats have the numbers to get it passed. So I would be surprised if it didn't, but then again, you never know. You never know. And our last highlight, St. Louis County. Now, everybody named Mama been asking me about the ARPA coins in the county. Well, the county council met to discuss with county officials and other organizations receiving these coins through grants to hear about what's happening. How's it going? So first, Chairwoman Webb, she was big mad, y'all. She was big mad, and she was feeling like Rodney Dangerfield, like, you know, they wouldn't get no respect as the county council because Nan won. Okay, Nan won. None of the department directors were there. So procurement, transportation, and public works, those were kind of the heavy hitters. They wasn't there. Even after they said they was going to beat her as early as that morning, y'all. And apparently, County Executive Page had a meeting with all of the department directors at the exact same time that this ARPA update meeting was held. Things that make you go, right? Things that make you go, So understandably so, Chairwoman Webb was big mad. And shout out to Cal Klemp. He's the deputy chief of operations for St. Louis County, and he was there taking the smoke and answering the questions that he could answer that the council members asked him about what was going on with these ARPA coins. So where are we at with the coins? So St. Louis County got about 190 and some change million in these coins. So of that, 128 million has been spent. And the rest of it, the bulk of it, which is 62 million, has been allocated, and about $28,000 has not been allocated yet. So I want y'all to know the timing of this, the timeline, the deadline, because these coins have to be spent by December 31st, 2026. But the coins have to be what they call obligated. And this means that the coins, they, ain't maybe going this way or possibly going nowhere. No, this means that the coins, there has to be a signed contract and the ink got to be dry on that damn contract, y'all. Saying that it's gonna be spent in a specific way by December 31st, 2024. And y'all, that's literally around the corner, because you blink, we gonna be in 2024. And that's when the meeting, it got really interesting. Because at that point, Mr. Clem, he started providing updates on some of the ARPA projects, which are listed here, right on the slide. So you've got the South County Strong Plan, which is looking to improve the sewer and other infrastructure issues in unincorporated South County. There's a project looking to demolish about 200 problem properties in unincorporated St. Louis County. There's also a project looking to improve, I think it's the Central District, the police, they're building. So that's construction project. There's also some coins going to food insecurity efforts in the 1st and 4th districts of St. Louis County, so in North County, and also some coins going to support nonprofits doing projects that align with how these ARPA coins can be spent. So obviously, council members were asking some project-specific questions, especially regarding some of the infrastructure-related projects. And, old boy, Kyle, he tried, but obviously he couldn't answer them all because that's not his job. And the people's whose job it is and that who know the information, they asses wasn't there. So it just kind of like defeated the entire purpose in my mind of why the meeting was even being held, because you couldn't get some of the specific answers. And so things got even more interesting when they discussed the coins going to nonprofits through grants, y'all. So technically, none of the maybe 10 to 12 nonprofits have been given their coins. So about 5 have gotten their financial agreements. So they're just waiting on signatures for the funding to be dispersed. But then the rest of them, y'all, they ain't even at the stage of getting the financial agreements. And this process has been going on for the past 9 or 10 months. The nonprofits that were at the meeting and provided their thoughts and perspectives on the process expressed how the entire experience has been real bad. So again, time is ticking. These folks, they got to have a plan on where these coins will be spent, It's got to be solidified. It's got to be confirmed by December 31st of 2024, y'all. And we talking like $10 to $12 million. And how is this going to shake? Is St. Louis County going to get its ARPA funds obligated and spent before the deadlines? Because if they don't, they're going to have to run the feds back their coins. And St. Louis County, they broke, y'all. They ain't got it. So they're going to have to get it together. So to be continued on that, y'all, to be continued. And we are wrapping it up with one announcement. If you have yet to do so, please complete our Transform 314 survey. You can scan the QR code here, or you can go to Transform 314. It doesn't take that long. We're winding down on our campaign, y'all. So make sure you complete it and your voice is heard. So that's it. That is it for this week. Remember, I'm just a messenger, right? And it's going to take all of us to address what we talked about this week to really change our communities for the better. And it takes you, and you can start by sharing this conversation, because the more people are aware, the more that we ain't got to get ready, because we already ready, right? So please stay shining and see you next week.